My name is Marcus Vance. I've always loved my family's old lake cabin, tucked at the far end of a pine-lined road. It was the kind of quiet place where you can hear the water slap against the dock at dusk. My grandparents built it in the 1960s, back when this patch of shoreline was nothing but wilderness. These days, though, it's not so wild. A fancy gated development called Silver Lake Point Estates has crept in. Silver Lake Point has all the trappings of a modern HOA: white picket fences, private tennis courts, and a board of neighbors who treat the bylaws like holy scripture. I only go there on weekends to escape, but I kept the lot cleared and the old cabin in good repair. Or at least, I tried to. That's when I met Patricia Sterling's perfectly coiffed blonde bob, giant sunglasses, and a voice that could peel paint. She was the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA. Our first interaction came the spring I arrived to open up the cabin. I found a cheerful little note securely taped to my dock ladder. "Hello, neighbor. HOA rules require that all watercraft be registered with the association. Please submit your boat info by next Friday to avoid fines. Patricia Sterling, Committee Chair." It was odd. My property wasn't part of Silver Lake Point Estates at all. Different tax district, different zoning, different everything. My family's land predates their HOA by decades. I left a polite reply on her note. "Thanks, but this property isn't under your HOA jurisdiction. Have a great season." I figured that was the end of it, but I completely underestimated Patricia Sterling. 2 weeks later, I planned a weekend getaway. I pulled up Friday evening and froze. Sitting smack in the middle of my cleared lot was a massive 30-foot RV, gleaming white and twice as obnoxious. Its slide-outs were extended, and lawn chairs were arranged in a perfect semicircle around a fire pit someone had dragged onto my gravel driveway. I thought maybe I was hallucinating, but nope. A woman in a white sun hat Patricia stepped out of the RV, waving like she was greeting a long-lost friend. "Oh good, you're here," she trilled happily. "I hope you don't mind our little setup." We needed overflow parking for the HOA's summer kickoff bash. Your lot was just sitting here empty. So convenient. My jaw nearly hit the gravel. "This is my private property," I said. "You can't just park here without permission." Patricia gave a little shrug, the kind that says rules are for other people. "Well, technically, your parcel is within the original survey lines. We all sort of assumed it was common space for Silver Lake Point. It's just for the weekend." I pulled out my phone and showed her the county's parcel map. The boundary line couldn't be clearer. My lot sat completely outside their HOA jurisdiction. Patricia barely glanced at it. "Same difference," she said, already turning back toward her RV. "We'll be gone by Sunday night. You won't even notice we were here. Polite warnings go nowhere." I called the county sheriff's non-emergency line. Deputy Lawson was sympathetic, but he remained a bit cautious about the situation. "Technically, that's trespassing," he said. "But since it's an HOA neighbor, maybe give them a chance to move first to keep the peace." Fine, I walked back, took a deep breath, and asked Patricia again. This time, I was much firmer. "Look, you need to move the RV tonight. This isn't up for debate." She smiled with the kind of smugness only an HOA board chair can muster. "I'm not budging. The road to the official party lot washed out in the rain, and our event is tomorrow. We have guests coming. If you want to complain, take it up with the HOA." I reminded her again about my property. I told her my land wasn't part of her HOA. Her eyes sparkled like she'd heard a toddler insist the sky was purple. "Sweetheart," she said, "around here, the HOA is the law." Then she shut the RV door. I stood there, heart pounding, staring at the closed door like it had personally insulted me. Saturday morning, the nightmare escalated. More cars arrived, and someone set up a massive sound system. They blasted 80s pop music across the lake. Strangers wandered across my dock, snapping selfies like it was a public park. When I confronted Patricia again, she waved me off with a cup of sangria. "It's just one weekend," she chirped. "You should be flattered. We chose your lot because it's so rustic." By Sunday night, the RV still hadn't budged. The party guests had left, but not the Sterlings. Patricia and her husband, Greg, lounged in camp chairs like permanent squatters. Monday came, and they were still there. That's exactly when I stopped playing nice and started digging into the law. I spent the evening poring over county ordinances. Turns out, parking an RV on private property without the owner's permission isn't just trespassing. It's a towable offense. And it got even better. Silver Lake Point Estates had its own HOA bylaws publicly available online. Page 47, Section 12, Subsection B. It was the exact ammunition I needed to finally take down the queen of the neighborhood. It read, "Any member found to be illegally occupying or storing vehicles on non-HOA property is subject to immediate towing at the owner's expense and a fine of up to $5,000. This fine was specifically for the violation of association boundaries. Patricia herself had signed those exact bylaws as committee chair. I nearly laughed out loud. It would only take one phone call. Tuesday morning, I called the same deputy. This time, I quoted the county ordinance and the HOA's own rules. Deputy Lawson whistled softly over the phone. "Sounds like you've given her plenty of warnings. We'll send a tow truck. You'll need to sign the trespass complaint." Less than 2 hours later, a massive wrecker rumbled up the dirt road. The operator, Big Mike, eyed the huge RV and simply nodded. Patricia bolted out the door, frantically waving her arms. "You can't tow this. This is a private gathering." Deputy Lawson calmly stepped forward and handed her the official legal paperwork. "Ma'am, you're trespassing, and your own HOA bylaws authorize removal. The property owner has signed the complaint." Patricia turned crimson. "This is Silver Lake Point Estates property," she screamed. The deputy pointed to the parcel map I had printed out. "No, ma'am. This is Lot 7C of the original Vance family tract, recorded in 1962. This is definitely not HOA land." Her husband, Greg, stepped up and tried to argue. The deputy just crossed his arms, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Sir, step aside right now, or I'll have to physically escort you back." 2 days later, I got a call from a very different Patricia. Gone was the smug, arrogant HOA queen. This Patricia sounded incredibly small. "They charged us $1,800 for the tow," she said. Her voice was trembling. "And the HOA fined us another $5,000 for unauthorized use of external property. You have to tell them to reverse it." I let a long pause stretch over the phone line. I let it stretch long enough to hear the distant hum of her utter humiliation. "Patricia," I said smoothly, "I warned you twice, and you ignored me. You even quoted HOA rules like they made you invincible. Now those exact same rules are biting back." Then I simply hung up the phone. It was absolute poetic justice. Over the next few weeks, word of Patricia's massive debacle spread like wildfire. Neighbors in Silver Lake Point Estates, who once feared her violation letters, now whispered and chuckled whenever she passed. By the next HOA election, Patricia quietly stepped down from her position. She claimed she needed to spend more time with family. Translation, she was pushed out, faster than an unwanted raccoon. Every time I return to the lake now, I notice something truly wonderful. My lot stays blissfully empty. There are no RVs. There are no unsolicited notes taped to my ladder. Just the quiet ripple of water against the dock. I keep a copy of the towing receipt in the guest book. It's a little memento of the weekend. Patricia learned the hard way that private property and karma aren't just suggestions. So, if you ever find yourself facing an HOA tyrant, remember my story. Sometimes, the absolute best revenge is simply stepping back and letting the land, their own precious rulebook, do the dirty work for you. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe for more.